What a crazy, unbelievable day it was yesterday. The Super Bowl was fantastic. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers. They are Super Bowl champions. It is, if you haven't noticed, the Ryan Hartson Show on BWC Internet Radio here the day after Super Bowl 45, where Aaron Rodgers finally gets his ring. It's been 3 years the starter, thrown for 4,000 yards 2 out of 3 years. Would have thrown for 4,000 yards if he had played all 16 games this year. He had the stats. Going into the playoffs, he had the stats, but he didn't have the playoff wins. Well, he sure as hell does now. Wins the first game in Philadelphia, puts on a clinic in Atlanta, showing Matt Ryan how playoff football is meant to be played. Plays god-awful against Chicago defense, gets that team to the Super Bowl, and then in this game, he was only okay. 24 out of 39, 304 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was just okay. Congratulations, man. I mean, that guy, I don't think people, deserve stuff. You deserve something. It's like, okay, well, if you're either going to get it or you're not based on how hard you work, at least in football. And man, but if anybody ever deserved anything, it's definitely Aaron Rodgers. He didn't go through bad stuff. He didn't go through hardship, or like New Orleans went through Hurricane Katrina. Aaron, it's not even on the level of that. He just went through weird stuff. He went through the whole getting drafted too low. He was supposed to be the first pick in the draft, but then 22 other teams skipped on him besides San Francisco, and suddenly, he's in Green Bay. And then he's got to wait for Brett Favre to retire, and unretire, and retire, and unretire, and retire, and unretire. That whole mess. And he gets through that pretty well. Does a fantastic job with the media in that. And then, in '08, goes through a tough season. Yes, he throws for 4,000 yards. Yes, he has a lot of numbers. However, he, the team only goes 6-10, which is, a terrible record with bad defense, and he was coming up short late in games. And then in '09, they go 11-5, and they lose the closest playoff game, the worst way you could possibly lose a football game, with Aaron Rodgers fumbling the ball away, and Carlos Dansby picks it up, goes the other way for a touchdown. And then it's this year where they're expected to win the Super Bowl. I picked them on this show to win the Super Bowl. And, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen with, all the injuries they had and a lot of, weird coaching decisions. This team was terrible at some points in this season. The stretch I point to, that 2 games against the Redskins and the Dolphins, both go to overtime, plays terrible in both games, and, just stunk it up. The entire team stunk it up. But then, somehow they figure it out on offense, they figure it out on defense, they learn how to play with their backups, and then Aaron gets the second concussion against the Giants. All this stuff just keeps piling on and piling on and piling on. And ultimately, what comes out of it is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He was focused, he was ready, he was experienced. There was all this talk about, the Steelers have all the experience. But the Packers have a different kind of experience. They have the experience of being under all this scrutiny and all this controversy, and Aaron Rodgers can't do this and he can't do that. I don't want to hear a word, and you will not today. I'm not going to spend any time talking about you-know-who and the whole replacement and what the organization did. It's a mundane conversation. It's a moot point. Aaron is finally, with this championship, this win, he is his own quarterback. And now Greg Jennings said it in a postgame, this is the first stepping stone of his legacy. Now he can be on a level all his own and have a spot in history, in Packer history, all to himself, and that's a Super Bowl championship. Pretty sure he's in Disney World right now, enjoying that weird parade. It's such an awkward parade for the Super Bowl MVP, isn't it? You go to Disney World, right, and you go and you hang out in Disney World, and you got this like mini parade where it's just you and you're on some stupid float, right? And then there's Mickey Mouse and Snow White and that what's the whole that dog Droopy or Goofy? Is it Goofy? I don't even know Disney characters, but like I learned from my own experience. There's for some reason there were Mickey Mouse characters at some kids adventure park that I went to, and all the Mickey Mouse characters were in there, and like I learned don't mess with Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is like just he's the mascot that does weird stuff to people sometimes, like he'll pick them up and throw them around, and at least that Mickey was a creepy Mickey, like trying to slap people around and stuff. So I learned that was when I was like 5. Don't mess with Mickey Mouse. So my advice to Aaron Rodgers would be leave Mickey alone. Like don't try to flirt with Minnie. Stay out of Mickey Mouse's way. He will mess you up. The dude, he's a bad dude. And have you seen his friends? He's got 1 million friends. So, like, he's got all the Disney characters. He's got, he's got those 7 dwarves on speed dial. You mess with Mickey Mouse, he will get those seven dwarves, and they will come, and they will kill you. I mean, just stay away from Mickey Mouse. Be careful. Such an awkward parade. Oh, yeah, I'm the Super Bowl MVP, and where are all the Disney characters? It's really weird. Really, really strange. So, but that's what comes along with winning the Super Bowl. And the Packers, they got to do it. Aaron Rodgers was spectacular, and there were so many balls. Kind of switching gears back to the game now, so many balls that were dropped by Jordy Nelson and James Jones in particular. James Jones, he makes 3 boo-boos a game, and he makes 1 great play every game. Every game. 3 mistakes and 1 play that makes you think he could be the best receiver in the league. Because from a purely talent standpoint, he is the best receiver, okay? He's the fastest. He's probably the quickest on his feet. But he's really not that bright. His route running is average, and his hands aren't very good. So you think if he could just hold on to a few more passes, he'd be an all-pro. I think he's that kind of talented. He's that kind of fast. If he just gets a little more precise in his route running, I think he could be a great receiver, an elite complement to Greg Jennings. Because Donald Driver's getting a little long in the tooth. You don't know about that. And then Jordy Nelson had a fantastic game. He was the leading receiver last night. 9 grabs, 140 yards, and a touchdown. He had a touchdown on his hands and dropped it, which is which was extremely unfortunate. Donald Driver gets hurt in this game. He has to come out because of it was either an ankle or a foot. Do we have an injury? No, we don't have an injury report from last night here. Okay, but anyway, Driver goes out. Charles Woodson goes out of this game. Sam Shields comes out of this game. Nick Collins at one point came out of the game. Some of these key defensive players come out of the game, and you're thinking, wow, everybody's been hurt already, and now everybody else is getting hurt. This is a real problem. And yet they're able to rally. The backups come in, almost seamlessly transition. They do a great job on Pittsburgh. The Steelers, Packers start off with a 21-3 burst. Steelers come all the way back, make it 21-17. Is that going into the 4th? I think that's. Do we have a scoring summary here? No. Wow, this box score sucks. The NFL.com box score. I will probably need to find a better one if I'm ever gonna do another one of these Super Bowl shows next year. Everybody write that down and remind me. BWC Internet Radio at live.com. Find better box scores. This doesn't have a quarter-by-quarter game summary, which is really dumb. Okay, so ultimately the Steelers come back 21-17. Then the Packers go back down the field again, and another touchdown to Greg Jennings. That was Aaron Rodgers' 3rd of the night, making it 28-17. And then the Steelers go back down the field in the 4th quarter. I know this was in the 4th quarter. Mike Wallace gets the catch, make it 28-23, and then they run this little option play to Antoine Randall for the 2-point conversion, so it's 28-25. The Packers have a great drive, eat up the clock, get all the way down to like the 8-ish yard line, and have to kick a field goal because Jordy Nelson, again, couldn't hang on to the ball in the end zone. So they end up kicking the field goal, and then Ben Roethlisberger has to come back the other way. And, I have been such an advocator of Ben Roethlisberger. I am going to spend a segment today defending Ben. I feel like he needs to be defended. I feel like everyone's going to kill him. I feel like people on this network are going to kill him. I feel like Corey's going to come on the air the next time he's on and just bash Ben Roethlisberger, because I don't think he liked him that much to begin with. So, yeah, I really don't know. I'd have to ask him about that. When I talked to him last night, we didn't talk about Ben at all because we're so pumped as Packer fans. But anyway, I thought Ben was going to go right back down the field. Turns out that's not the case. Roethlisberger on 4th and 5 can't complete a pass. Tramon Williams breaks it up. There was a short that they might have a beef with a pass interference play that was not to be. So the Packers hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Aaron Rodgers, the Super Bowl MVP, well deserved. And, if you pay attention to actual sports talk radio, Colin Cowherd has been perceived as a hater of Aaron Rodgers because he wouldn't put him up in the elite class either. Now, I wasn't so quick to either. I was like, wait a second, he's not Brady or Manning. And, I am going to have a segment today. There is a segment up there, that is going to do a new quarterback ranking. I feel like Aaron Rodgers has finally kind of broken into the elite level of quarterbacks, so we will rank them we'll rank the quarterbacks as I see it in another segment. But Ben couldn't make the play at the end. Aaron's the MVP, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's fantastic. Where this Super Bowl had everything. It was close. It was unbelievably close. The teams were phenomenal, very well evenly matched, and I said it was kind of a yin and yang thing, like one team did something really bad, and the other team the exact same thing really well, and there was that parallel opposites. And it turns out what really mattered was the Packers' elite receiving core against the Steelers' average secondary, and at the end of the day, the Packers receivers, specifically Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings, were able to make plays and score touchdowns, and Aaron Rodgers throws for 300 yards on a Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This was only the 3rd time this season the Steelers did not get a turnover. The Steelers defense did not get a turnover. In short, just a quick summary of the game, if you didn't watch it, and what you really need to know, Aaron Rodgers was sharp, and the Steelers turned it over 3 times, including a great forced fumble by Clay Matthews. The Steelers turned it over, the Packers capitalized, and that, for the most part, is why the Green Bay Packers are Super Bowl champions. Alright, there are a couple little things that kind of stem off of the Super Bowl. One is people need to stop yelling about Ben Roethlisberger. He's getting killed today nationally. I feel like I need to defend him. I will do that. Also, I feel like there's been a paradigm shift in the quarterback ranking. I feel like Aaron Rodgers has moved up. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger has gone down, but he's not out of the elite class. You have 2 rings. You're not falling out of anything. And I feel like, there are 2 different segments. Also today, I believe we are going to be... I don't know what we're going to be doing, but there is something else that I wanted to do today. Hall of Fame. Chris Carter got snubbed again. I'll be talking about that as well. So 3 more segments. I'm going to defend Ben next. Also, we're going to be ranking quarterbacks. And why the hell is Chris Carter still not in the Hall of Fame? This is driving me crazy, and it's going to drive me crazy for another year. And you know what? He's probably going to get snubbed next year too. All of that coming up. It's the Ryan Hartson Show on BWC Internet Radio.